My name is Amber Norris. I turned 32 on a Tuesday, and the first sound I heard that morning was nothing. No buzzing phone, no chaotic family group chat, just the hum of my fridge and a neighbor's radio bleeding faintly through the wall like a memory with bad reception. It's funny, the quiet used to feel like luxury. In my line of work, event planning, silence is rare, sacred. But on your birthday, silence is a verdict. I stared at my lock screen as the minutes drifted past 8:00 a.m., then 9:12, then 10:03. The only notification all morning was a reminder from my banking app that rent would be due in 5 days. Cute. I told myself not to spiral. Maybe mom's phone died. Maybe dad was fixing the sprinkler again and lost track of time. Maybe Camilla, my younger sister, the family's walking confetti cannon, had an appointment and would call right after. I brewed coffee. I answered 2 client emails. I texted Ethan, my boyfriend, human soft landing, champion of breakfast before feelings. Ethan, happy birthday, Amber. Dinner's on me tonight. No spreadsheets allowed. Me, deal. No spreadsheets. Maybe a cake, though. Ethan, I'll handle dessert, promise. I wanted to believe that was enough. Be a grown woman. Make your own celebration. But there's a specific ache reserved for being the low-maintenance kid. You spend years being easy, helpful, fine, and then one day you realize fine has made you invisible. At noon, I cut a slice of silence and ate it with bread. Then I did the thing I knew would hurt. I opened Instagram. First post, Camila. A rooftop exploding with pink smoke. Champagne flutes like glittering teeth around a grin that belonged to everyone but me. Caption, it's a girl. Thank you to everyone who came to celebrate our little miracle. #gender reveal. #family first. Everyone was there. Mom, radiant and practiced. Dad, already wearing a girl dad again shirt, like it came with the bloodline. Aunt Regina, the same one who once called gender reveals the apex of performative nonsense, held a mimosa like it was her moral support animal. My name wasn't in any tag. No wish Amber could have made it. No, we missed you. Just pink smoke swallowing the skyline and a #avalanche. I checked the timestamp. Last night. My birthday eve. The same night I'd sat on my couch watching renovation reruns and eating grocery store pizza that tasted like cardboard with aspirations. It wasn't the party. It was the pattern. The sheet cake birthdays where Camilla got a parade and I got a candle stub. The Christmas where Mom clasped a diamond necklace around Camilla's neck while I unwrapped beige socks. Beige, like a color that apologizes for existing. The million invisible favors. Drives to the airport at 3 a.m., last-minute spreadsheets for Dad because Google Drive hates me, dog-sitting during Camilla's I'm finding myself in Tulum phase. Somehow I was always the logistics, never the headline. 3 days ago, I'd even sent a gentle nudge in the family chat. Heads up, free Saturday if anyone wants low-key dinner. Read receipts, no replies. I had convinced myself they were plotting a surprise. Turns out the surprise was for someone else's belly. I don't know how long I stared at Camilla's post, long enough for my coffee to cool and my jaw to hurt from clenching. When I finally closed the app, the apartment felt too clean, like a stage before the actors arrive. I reached for a box of cake mix because tradition has a way of teaching you bad habits. If no one's coming, at least there will be cake. It came out uneven, leaning like a tired building. I shaved the burnt edge, frosted the survivors, and stuck a single candle in the center because hope is a muscle with memory. I lit it and waited for a text that didn't come. At 8:07 p.m., my phone buzzed. Mom, sorry, sweetie. Everything was so hectic. Hope you had a good night. I typed, it's okay, and deleted it. I typed, you knew, and deleted that too. Then I landed on a single word with all the light drained out of it. Me, sure. Ethan called right after. I'm outside, he said. I brought real candles, the kind that don't sputter like they're negotiating. I opened the door to his lopsided grin and a paper bag that smelled like citrus and sugar. He looked past me at the cake. Okay, she's charming. Be kind, I said. She's doing her best. He set down a small bakery box. Backup plan. Then he clocked my face. The micro flinch when you unbox disappointment. Ethan's gift is that he never pushes. He just makes space. Want to talk about it? He asked. I exhaled. They had a gender reveal last night. Everyone was there. I tried to make it sound like a traffic update. And you weren't. Not even a tag. I forced a shrug. It's not the end of the world. No, he said gently, but it is a world you live in. We ate cake on the floor, backs against the cabinets, two people pretending not to notice that the candle kept flickering like it couldn't decide whether to live or die. I told him about the socks. He told me about the year his ex tried to sell him on birthdays are just capitalism, which was also the year he learned capitalism tastes a lot like someone else's spotlight. After he left, I cleaned the kitchen like a background character. Plates, counters, the stubborn streak of chocolate that refused to be reasonable. When the last dish was set to dry, the silence returned, patient and heavy. That's when the sentence arrived, the kind that doesn't shout, just settles. Stop waiting to be remembered. Start remembering yourself. I opened my laptop. The glow felt like a door. A blank spreadsheet titled itself in my head. Operation Unbothered. Tabs populated like soldiers taking their marks. Budget, venue, lighting, guest list, menu, music, notes. The cursor blinked, asking if I meant it. I did. The who went first. Not family. Not this time. People who had shown up. Clients I'd rescued from meltdown. Colleagues who covered shifts unasked. The florist who once rewired a ceremony arch while talking me through a panic breath by breath. Jenna, who brings soup without permission when I work through lunch. Ethan, who never makes my feelings an errand. Venue. A memory surfaced. The yacht company owner who once told me, "If you ever want to party like the rich and miserable, I owe you a favor." I typed Midnight Raven before I could talk myself out of it. Not as a flex, okay, maybe a tiny flex, but as a statement. I am not logistics. I am not beige socks. I am a person with a name. I deserve a room, no, 3 decks, where I am not the help. I didn't post a save the date. I didn't drop hints. I didn't invite my parents in case. I saved the file, closed the laptop, and felt the room tilt a degree toward me, like gravity had remembered my name. Later, as I brushed my teeth, Mom's text pinged again. "We'll make it up to you, sweetheart. You know how busy we've been." I let the screen dim. The old version of me would have explained myself, made room, softened the edge. The new version learned a different verb. Hold. Hold the hurt long enough to see its shape. Hold your boundary long enough to feel it become you. Hold the line so you can become the headline of your own life. I blew out the candle on the second cake, the bakery one Ethan brought. It went out clean on the first breath. Tomorrow I would begin. Tonight I finally ended something. When people say revenge, they imagine fire. But what I felt was ice, clean, focused, surgical. The next morning, I woke up before sunrise, brewed coffee, and opened my laptop to the blinking cursor that still read, Operation Unbothered. This wasn't about proving a point. It was about reclaiming the air my family had taken up for years, every time they'd turn my birthdays into background noise for Camila's latest moment. I built the plan the same way I built client events, line by line, hour by hour. Budget, $12,000. Venue, the Midnight Raven. 3 decks, full bar, glass dance floor. Guest list, the people who'd actually shown up when my world cracked. Jenna, my assistant and quiet chaos tamer. Miles, a florist who once wired an entire arch while I hyperventilated over a delayed permit. Clients turned friends, designers, chefs, engineers. No family, no guilt, just gratitude. Jenna stopped by my apartment that afternoon, carrying her laptop, a reusable coffee cup, and the kind of energy that rearranges rooms. "So," she said, plopping down beside me, "you're throwing yourself a yacht party. I approve." "It's not a yacht party," I said automatically. She arched a brow. 3 decks and custom lighting say otherwise. I tried to hide my smile. "It's a celebration." "Of what?" "Of showing up," I said quietly, even when no one else does. She nodded once, like she'd been waiting for that sentence. "Then let's make it unforgettable." By week 2, I had the yacht booked, courtesy of Rick, the owner of the company I'd once saved from an event disaster when his lighting rig short-circuited mid-gala. He laughed when I called. "Amber, you finally planning something for yourself?" he asked. "Maybe," I said. "Think of it as practicing gratitude." He gave me a 60% discount. "Then it's on me," he said. "People like you deserve to be seen." It hit me harder than I expected, being seen. I wasn't chasing luxury. I was chasing proof. Proof that I could create joy without begging permission. Proof that the invisible daughter could light up her own skyline. Ethan showed up that night with takeout and a grin. So, rumor has it my girlfriend's throwing a yacht party for herself? I shot him a look. It's not, he interrupted, smirking. Sure, sure. A celebration of existence. Classy. He opened a bottle of wine and leaned against the counter. You know, he said, you don't owe them a performance. You could just disappear from their radar. I tried that once, I said. They just forgot faster. He went quiet, then gently said, then maybe this time, don't disappear. Just stand where the light hits you. I laughed softly. You're learning from me. Occupational hazard of dating an event planner, he said, toasting his glass. You make everything sound poetic and terrifying. The planning became therapy. Each task, menu selection, DJ curation, seating chart, chipped away at the old ache. Every RSVP felt like a vote of confidence from a world I'd helped build quietly in the background. And for once, the spotlight didn't feel like betrayal. By mid-June, the details were locked. Champagne bar, seafood tower with truffle butter, a dessert table with macarons stamped, "We don't forget birthdays here." When Jenna suggested personalized party favors, I said no. They'll remember because it felt real, I said. Then, just as I was confirming the final headcount, Mom texted. Mom, sweetheart, Camilla's baby shower's next month. Can you help plan it? You're so good at this stuff. I stared at the message for a full minute. No hi, how are you? No. Sorry again for the birthday. Just assumption. Me, I'm fully booked that month. Mom, oh, with what? I typed, deleted, retyped. Me, something for myself. I hit send. The dots appeared, disappeared, then silence. It was the quietest victory I'd ever felt. The night before the event, I walked along the pier to check the lighting rig and catering setup. The city shimmered across the water, and for the first time, I wasn't anxious. I wasn't waiting for an apology, or an excuse, or a text that might soften old wounds. Jenna walked beside me, clipboard in hand. You sure you don't want to post about it? Not even a teaser story? No, I said. If they find out, they find out. But I won't advertise what they never earned the right to see. She smiled. You've come a long way from crying over beige socks. I chuckled. You remember that? Amber, you gave a whole TED talk on emotional hosiery. We both laughed, but there was truth beneath the humor. I had been beige for too long. Safe, forgettable, neutral. Not anymore. I looked up at the sign that was being mounted across the deck railing. It glowed faintly in the dusk. Welcome aboard. Below it, in clean gold letters that would light up at sunset, my name. Hosted by Amber Norris. Not huge, not showy, but undeniable. As the workers tightened the last screws, I whispered to myself, tomorrow they'll see what being forgotten built. The waves answered softly like applause. When I woke up that morning, the world already felt different. Not loud or dramatic, just aligned. The kind of calm you get before something big finally makes sense. By 5 p.m., the Midnight Raven gleamed at the dock like it had been waiting its whole life for this night. 3 decks of glass and light, gold thread string lights curling around the rails, and in the center of the top deck, my name glowing soft and clean. Hosted by Amber Norris. For once, I wasn't the planner hiding behind the clipboard. I was the reason for the clipboard. Jenna was everywhere, headset on, clipboard tucked under one arm, like a general leading a small, well-dressed army. Amber, champagne's chilled, dessert table is set, DJ's sound check done. You good? I smiled. Good is an understatement. The first guests arrived right on cue. Clients, friends, coworkers, people whose names didn't just fill my schedule, but my life. There was laughter before sunset, warmth before music, and an ease I hadn't felt in years. Ethan showed up wearing the exact shade of navy that matched the sky. He handed me a glass of Prosecco and said quietly, I think you just outdid every wedding you've ever planned. It's not about outdoing anyone, I said, smiling. It's about existing where I'm not an afterthought. He brushed a thumb against my cheek. Then tonight, you're unforgettable. And for a few beautiful hours, I was. The yacht lifted anchor. City lights blurred into liquid gold behind us as music rose. Deep house, smooth jazz, soft acoustic covers that felt like laughter in sound form. Guests toasted, danced, and filled every deck with stories I'd once helped them celebrate. Now they were celebrating me. Each conversation felt like a mirror, reflecting the parts of me my family never noticed. You saved my event, said a Broadway lighting designer. You gave me my first break, said a florist. You believed in me, said a caterer. And all I could think was, I believed in everyone but myself for so long. The night deepened. Lights shimmered off the water. And for the first time in a decade, my heart felt loud enough to drown the silence my family had left in me. Until Jenna appeared, her head set slightly askew, her face trying and failing to look calm. Don't panic, she said. But your family's here. My glass froze midair. What? She pointed toward the dock where the pier lights framed 4 silhouettes. Mom's curls, Dad's arms crossed, Camilla, round and radiant with her baby bump, and her husband, already filming something on his phone like this was another social media moment. Jenna sighed. They asked to come aboard. My heart stumbled once, then steadied. They're not on the list. I know, she said, and I told them, word for word, sorry, private charter, guest list closed, please enjoy the city lights from the pier. A startled laugh escaped me. You didn't. I absolutely did, Jenna said. Camilla looked like she bit into a lemon. I exhaled slowly, the sound half relief, half ache. Did they leave? Not yet. I turned toward the railing. From the upper deck, I could see them, tiny from up here. Mom clutching her jacket, Dad pretending to be on his phone, Camilla pacing, her husband's camera still rolling. They looked lost. Ethan came up beside me, following my gaze. You want to go down there? No, I said softly. I want to stay right here. At 9:30, the party reached its peak. Music, laughter, champagne bubbling like applause. But beneath the glow, I kept seeing the pier. 4 silhouettes that had once been my whole world, now watching from the outside of mine. I didn't need to make a scene. I didn't need a speech. The silence between us was the speech. And then, as the boat gently turned back toward the marina, Jenna touched my arm. They're still there. Of course they were. When the yacht docked, most guests hugged me goodbye, still buzzing, shoes in hand, smiles wide. As the last of them trickled off, I helped Jenna gather the remaining decor until I heard the creak of footsteps on the gangway. Amber? It was Mom. Hair curled, eyes tired, smile brittle around the edges. Behind her, Dad stood stiff, Camilla behind him, arms wrapped protectively over her belly. Docks closed to guests, I said without looking up. My voice came out even, too even. Sweetheart, Mom said softly, stepping closer. We didn't know. Didn't know what? I straightened. That this was your event. The way she said your event made it sound like a crime. Camilla crossed her arms. You could have told us. I blinked. You could have remembered. Dad cleared his throat. Amber, come on, you know how hectic things have been with the baby. I cut him off, calm but sharp. You mean the gender reveal that was held on my birthday? Mom flinched, just slightly, but enough. We didn't mean to hurt you. Yeah, I said, but you didn't mean to remember either. For a second, none of them spoke. The pier lights flickered on the water between us. Camilla looked away first. Are you seriously still upset about that? She said finally, her tone clipped. We had a once-in-a-lifetime day, Amber. And this isn't? I gestured around, the glowing decks, the city skyline reflected in the water. Do you think I throw yacht parties every weekend? She hesitated, her face tightening. She hadn't considered that my life might include things worth celebrating. Dad tried again, softer. We just want to be part of your life. I met his eyes. You had that chance, for years. Silence. Mom's voice broke it. Can we at least come aboard? Say hi to everyone? Before I could answer, Jenna appeared beside me, calm and professional, holding her clipboard like a badge. Sorry, she said evenly. We're at capacity. Insurance reasons. Camilla scoffed. Seriously? I'm very good at my job, Jenna replied, not blinking. I could have laughed from how poetic it felt. My family, for once, standing behind the rope they'd always kept me on the other side of. They didn't expect this. They didn't expect to be left out. They didn't expect me to have boundaries. And as they turned, slowly, awkwardly, walking back toward the pier's parking lot, I felt something shift inside me. They finally understood what it felt like, to watch something important from a distance, to not be invited, to wonder if maybe they weren't the main characters after all. The lights of the yacht flickered softly in the water, gold over blue. Behind me, Jenna whispered, You okay? I nodded. Yeah, I said quietly. I think I finally am. The next morning, sunlight spilled through my curtains like a slow apology. The yacht photos sat in my camera roll, smiling faces, laughter frozen in gold light, the name Amber Norris shimmering across the hull. My phone buzzed nonstop, 23 missed calls, 17 unread messages, 3 voicemails, every one of them from people who shared my last name. I didn't open them right away. I made coffee first, ate breakfast barefoot, let the city hum outside like nothing had happened. Then I scrolled. Camilla, wow, real classy. Hope your ego enjoyed its night. 40 minutes later. Also, thanks for not inviting your own niece's future parents. She'll grow up knowing. I actually laughed out loud. The fetus was holding a grudge now? Mom's texts were a roller coaster. Sweetheart, please don't shut us out. Camilla's pregnancy is stressful for everyone. You used to be forgiving. I'm worried about you. Dad, as always, went straight for guilt. Hope you're happy with yourself. And I was, maybe for the first time in years. I didn't reply to any of them. I just turned the phone face down, opened my laptop, and wrote thank you notes to every person who'd come. Jenna, the crew, the caterer, the lighting team, even the DJ who'd accidentally looped levitating 3 times. It felt grounding, like replanting myself somewhere stable. A few days later, one of my longtime clients, Nadia, called. Amber, I'm in Santorini planning an oceanfront wedding, and my coordinator just dropped out. You interested in consulting? I didn't even let her finish the sentence. When do I fly out? 2 weeks later, I was on a plane, leaving the heavy air of my family's drama behind. Santorini looked fake in the most beautiful way. Blue domes melting into sky, white stone catching sunlight like it had secrets to tell. The ocean smelled like citrus and forgiveness. I checked into a small hotel on a cliffside, the kind of place that didn't need filters. My first morning there, I opened the balcony doors and just breathed. No pings, no can you help plan this, no guilt, just waves and wind. For 3 days, I threw myself into the wedding, arranging flowers, timing the ceremony, matching candlelight to sunset. The couple was kind and low drama. Their love was quiet, uncomplicated. It reminded me that joy didn't have to fight for space. The night before the ceremony, I sat at a seaside cafe with a glass of wine and my phone face down. I hadn't checked it in hours, maybe days. When I finally flipped it over, one new message waited. Mom. Hey, sweetheart. Just wanted you to know Camilla gave birth this morning. Healthy baby girl. 7 pounds. Named her Camille. I blinked. Camille. Camilla had named her daughter after herself. Of course she had. No, we missed you at the shower. No wish you could have been here. Just an announcement, like a press release. I reread it once, then set the phone down beside my glass. I didn't feel sad. Not even angry. Just confirmed. Like the universe had sent a final memo. This chapter is closed. The next morning, I stood barefoot on a cliff above the Aegean Sea. The water glittered like forgiveness personified. I opened the family group chat, frozen there in its usual chaos of memes, shopping lists, and emotional half-apologies, and typed, sending warm wishes to baby Camille. May she grow up surrounded by people who make her feel seen. Then I left the chat. No drama, no exit speech, just a small click that felt like dropping a stone into still water. I didn't wait for their replies. I closed the app, slipped the phone into my bag, and headed to the wedding rehearsal. Ethan called that evening, his voice soft through the sea breeze. How's paradise? Loudly peaceful, I said, like my brain finally has room to think. You sound lighter. I am, I admitted. It's strange. Once you stop chasing people who forget you, the world gets quiet in a good way. He laughed. I told you, you just had to stand where the light hits you. A week later, I flew home. The city felt different now, smaller, softer. My apartment was still, my plants somehow thriving without me. When I opened the mailbox, one envelope sat waiting. Pink glitter edges, pastel font. Welcome, baby Camille, hosted by the Norris family. Inside, RSVP card, menu options, and a handwritten note from Mom. We'd love for you to help host. You're great with events. No apology, no acknowledgement. Acknowledgement, just assumption. I laughed quietly, then set the invitation on my desk. Later that night, I framed it. Right next to a photo of the yacht's stern glowing in gold, Amber Norris. Whenever someone visits my office and asks about the framed invite, I smile and say, that's the last event I never planned. And I mean it. 1 year later, I woke up on my birthday to sunlight slanting across my apartment floor. No phone buzz, no ache, no expectation. Just the sound of the city breathing beneath my window. The world felt calm, not quiet like loneliness, quiet like peace. On my kitchen shelf sat two framed photos, one of the midnight raven, my name glowing gold across the hull, the other, that pastel invitation, "Welcome, baby Camille," still sealed in glass, a soft reminder of a story I'd already closed. I poured coffee, turned on a jazz playlist, and smiled when I saw Ethan's message light up my phone. Ethan, "Morning, birthday girl. Don't move. I'm picking up breakfast and candles." Me, "No spreadsheets, remember?" Ethan, "No promises." It made me laugh, real laughter, the kind that doesn't hurt. I spent the morning writing. Notes for a new event proposal, ideas for the workshops Jenna and I were planning to teach next quarter. My life wasn't quiet because it was empty. It was quiet because it was mine. Around noon, a soft knock echoed at the door. 3 short taps, tentative. I froze. Not Ethan. He'd text before knocking. Not Jenna. She'd call from the elevator. I walked over, heart steady, and opened the door. It was Mom. Her makeup was subtle, her hair pulled back, eyes lined with something between nerves and guilt. In her hands, she held a small store-bought cake, lopsided, white icing, one candle stuck right in the middle. She didn't speak at first, just stood there, cake trembling slightly in her hands. "I remembered," she whispered. The words hung there, fragile and late. I stared at the cake. Vanilla. Probably from the same grocery store where I'd bought my own last year. For a moment, I saw 2 birthdays overlapping. The old one, where I'd cried into a tilted cake, and this one, where I didn't have to anymore. I took a breath. "I know," I said gently, "but I already celebrated." Her eyes flickered. "With who?" "With people who remember without reminders." Mom's mouth opened, then closed again. She nodded slowly, eyes glistening with something. Shame, maybe understanding. "I just wanted to see you," she said quietly. "That's all." I nodded back. "Then you did." For a second, she lingered, as if waiting for the old me to reach out, to invite her in, to smooth the tension. But that version of me didn't live here anymore. I smiled, not out of anger, but release, and gently closed the door. Inside, the silence felt different now, softer. Not hollow, just mine. I set the coffee back on the counter, lit one candle from Ethan's box, and watched it flicker. That little flame, small and sure, mirrored the one I'd blown out exactly a year ago. Only this time, I didn't need to make a wish. I was living it. The wish was this: to exist without chasing anyone's acknowledgement, to celebrate without apology, to be remembered by myself first. Ethan arrived 10 minutes later, carrying a paper bag of pastries and that easy grin that still undid me. He saw the unlit cake on the counter and blinked. "That from your mom?" "Yeah," I said. "She remembered." He studied my face. "You okay?" I smiled. "I'm better than okay." He leaned against this counter, watching me. "So what's the plan, birthday girl?" "No plan," I said, exhaling. "Just peace." He pulled a lighter from his pocket and lit a single candle on the pastry box. "To new chapters," he said softly. "To finally writing them myself," I replied. We clinked our mugs, and in that moment, I realized something beautiful. I hadn't just survived being forgotten. I had built a life so full, so warm, so mine, that even when they finally remembered, I didn't need them to anymore. The candle burned steady between us, its glow soft against the morning light. For once, there was no noise, no guilt, no ache, just peace, and the quiet, steady hum of a life remembered by the only person who ever needed to, me.